I'm so excited because today I'm chatting with Nanda and we're talking about. So, by the way, there's so many things about Indian culture and India that I find intriguing, and I just love having conversations about all sorts of different topics. And
Okay.
so today I wanted to chat about arranged marriages because arranged marriages are so interesting to me, and it's something that historically has been common in India and that still goes on, maybe in a bit of a modified way. And you were in an arranged marriage.
Yes. Yes.
So I guess I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about it and your experience of, I guess, what is it like? What was it like for you as a young girl to sort of be arranged?
We have actually grown up in this. We are in this thing that arranged marriage is something not new for us. So we really don't find it so exciting or
Yeah.
this thing like the way you find it.
Yeah, it's like an
Because
interesting topic to me, but here
yeah,
it's.
because we are used to it since ages. This is what has been happening, and I really don't see anything that was not because even if in an arranged marriage you meet the person, you talk to them, it's only when you like and you feel you can spend your life together is then that it's finalized. It's not that it's imposed on you. Arranged marriage doesn't mean any kind of imposition.
And that's what I wanted to discuss because I do think arranged marriage is different than maybe people imagine. Like, I thought before I traveled in India and talked to people, I thought that arranged marriage means, okay, Roman, that's your husband. The wedding is tomorrow at noon. Show up with your dress on. Okay, slight exaggeration, right? But that sort of idea. But that's not actually
No, it
how it
isn't.
works.
No, it isn't that. It is the families, the families also see the family, the opposite family's background. They meet the people. If you feel that they are, to the same kind of wavelength, the same thinking process, the same lifestyle, even the lifestyle really matters. And the boy and the girl also meet, they talk to each other, and it's if and after all this, if they feel that okay, this is a good match, you can think of spending the life together, then it is finalized. There's no kind of imposing.
And I think that's an important distinction because, yeah, because I think it's different than what people think of as arranged, And so I guess, but what is it like? Because you were arranged when you were maybe 18, something around that age?
I was
Or
21.
You were 21. Oh, okay. So I've met some people who are arranged a little bit younger. So you were like fairly, a bit older. So were you excited when you heard you were going to be arranged? Were you a little bit
No,
nervous about it, or?
nervous in the sense, okay, you're a little nervous because you know that you're going to entering a new life is going to begin for you. So that is the reason, not because it's an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Even if it's a love marriage and you are in a relationship with a boy or a girl, but moment the marriage comes in, people still are little nervous about it. That okay, if it's a marriage, then life is going to change. So either it is love marriage or it's arranged. That change of life is going to happen either ways.
Yeah.
Here it may be in because you may have met the person couple of times or 4 5 times or whatever, and in if you are in a relationship with somebody, then maybe year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So you feel that you know the person, but not necessarily that even in love marriages the marriages are successful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
By the way, I'm going to tell you a conversation I was having just yesterday where someone was telling me, oh my God, there was a couple and they were on the street and they were like yelling at each other. And they said, haha, that was probably an arranged marriage. And I said, no. I said, listen, love marriage couples yell at each other all the time,
Yes.
right? We have no idea what was going on. So absolutely, you're completely, we
Yeah.
know this,
Yeah, sure.
In the US, the vast majority of couples are not arranged and still there are plenty of divorces and issues.
Yes. So I think it's not about how the marriage is taking place. I think it's all about the fact that are you ready to adjust, compromise, respect the other person's do's and don'ts and needs and shortcomings and plus points, everything. We all have minuses, we all have plus points, so it has to be a mutual compromise between the two people who are going to live. See, breaking away and separating is the easiest thing you can do.
Sure.
But so one thing about arranged marriage is that you are subconsciously prepared that, okay, because you really don't know the person so well as you think you would have known the person in love marriage, you are already mentally prepared, thinking that, okay, you have to do some adjustments. That acceptance is already there in you.
Right.
And there's a lot of family thing involved in it. The parents are involved, and so breaking away from that kind of marriage is little difficult. People, the boy or the girl, will have to think twice if they want to separate, because there's so much of family bonding happening. I wouldn't say it's a pressure, it's a bonding that keeps you away from so many things that you shouldn't be doing in a relationship. Any relationship for that matter, whether your friends, your neighbors, people around you, clubs, your social life, just breaking away and going away is the easiest thing, and I think is the most immature thing you can do. Because that's not going to end your problem anywhere. You have to sort out, you have to get into this habit of sorting out things, adjusting, compromise. There's nothing wrong in compromising. Today,
Sure.
the world would have been a much better place to live if we all knew how to compromise, how to respect the other person's needs, not only my needs.
Yeah.
That's very important. And this is probably the first step in Indian families. The children, right from the beginning, they are knowingly or unknowingly taught to respect and understand the family members, whether they're older members or, you have your grandparents, or if it's a joint families, then you have your uncles and aunts. So all the time they are adjusting somewhere or the other.
Right.
They are into that mode of adjusting and compromising and letting go of some of their comforts and demands all the time.
And now you mentioned that, but like with the families bond, of course, and it's an even bigger family. And in case you don't know, of course,
Yeah.
and here in India, family is huge.
Yeah.
Much more important than even a lot of places in the West, in the U.S. But so I would wonder, though, once your parents kind of have an eye on a person to arrange you with, would it be easy, or is it really possible to say no?
Yes, of course.
It is.
It is. It's absolutely easy to, but that's what I told you in the beginning. It's not imposing.
It's
not pressurizing. It's done with consent and with proper understanding. The girl and the boy are given the time to talk to each other. The families have the time to meet couple of times. They want to meet again. It's always open. Otherwise, you can always say no if it's not working out.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a very healthy way of getting into companionship for your life.
And I think it's also a really interesting point that you make about with arranged marriages, knowing that you're going in having to compromise, maybe because you don't know the person so
Yes.
well, or because you're coming from such different places. Because okay, so sometimes I like to watch these reality TV shows, and like one was like about arranged marriages. I thought it was so interesting, and it seemed like to me sometimes the couples that didn't click right away sometimes got along better long term.
Yes.
Because the couples that clicked right away, it was like they had these big expectations.
Yes.
They met the person and it was like so romantic,
So
and then
true.
they made like
So
a whole
true.
fantasy of like thinking that this person was perfect.
Yes.
And then later, of course, they realize the person's not perfect because no one is. And then the relationships kind of crumble. So I just think I hadn't really thought of it in that way as well, about how, like maybe it's good, or there's a positive side going in.
Yes.
And side note, the first arranged couple I ever met was an Indian couple who they now live in Malaysia, and I never would have guessed that they were arranged. Like I met them together and they were like really cute together, and it was almost weird how they really balanced each other well. Like one was a little bit more feisty than the other, and but in a way that like it harmonized,
Yes.
and I could see where it was like one sort of compensated for the other, and maybe that evolved over time, because I think they'd been married for like over 20 years or something. But I was so surprised to see them together, and then to learn that they were arranged, because I was like, this is not What in my
So,
mind I would have made up.
yeah, so this is a belief system that has somehow, become very popular with everyone around. That okay, if it's an arranged marriage, it's how can you have an arranged marriage? My question is, why can't you have an arranged marriage?
Yeah.
If it is about, see, even if as in school, when we were small, we were kids, we had friends. It was always compromise, but that compromise we did willingly or subconsciously, unknowingly. Okay, my friend wants this. Okay, I can share this with you.
Yeah.
Okay, she doesn't like it. I won't do that. So it was willingly we did it. Why can't we willingly compromise in a marriage?
Yeah.
Why do we have this, over expectation, or why, why are we trying to hunt for a perfect, relationship that never, and I think a perfect relationship will never have the spice to liven it up unless you have the differences and you have something to, differences here and there, and that is what livens everything up.
And now I was talking to some girls last night, who are some local Indian girls here in Bangalore, and they were telling me that they feel like now that arranged marriages like kind of almost doesn't sound cool in a way, and that even people who are in arranged marriages, like young people, they say it's a love marriage, even when it's not actually a love
Yeah,
marriage. It was an
yeah,
arranged
yeah,
marriage.
okay.
I wonder if you hear this or
Yeah,
there's like a stigma in some way.
yeah, the only in the new generation coming up, because they are totally guided by the peer pressure, by what their friends say and what their age group people around their group would, talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's a very it's only about peer pressure. It doesn't have any, logic behind it. No
Yeah.
reason, no good reason why, and they are at that age that it, explaining things to them is little tough.
Yeah.
So because they're not willing to listen or whatever, or they have their own reasons, whatever. Let's, but that's how it is.
I'll say.
It's happening a lot nowadays that they feel that okay, if you're in arranged marriage, then it's not cool.
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of cool definitions happening all over.
Right.
Everything should be cool, and it has its own definition
Right.
rather than whether it should. Okay, so.
But I'll say this, as a person, growing up in the US, finding someone suitable to date can feel so difficult that there are plenty of times I wouldn't have minded if someone wanted to fix me up or as long as I had the ability to like yay
Say
or nay
yes,
it.
and yes,
Oh.
that's totally open here.
Yeah.
Even if even after the families agree and they feel that okay, and the boy and the girl feels that we don't want, we can't, our choices are different or our tastes are different or whatever. They have all the right to freedom to say no.
Yeah.
No one is imposing anything on anything.
Yeah. I love it.
Because you people have had enough of love marriages, so probably you're looking at
Absolutely.
So
We've had enough failed love marriages that I was like, literally, I can recall a time where I was talking to my family and I was thinking, and I think I even said to them, I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind. They could arrange me. But I can be a little bit difficult. So my aunt said she'd be afraid to arrange me because she said that if he ever did something wrong, she would know that I'd be looking at her like, you did this to me.
true. So no one wants to take the responsibility.
That's exactly it. I think in the U.S., the parents don't want that pressure. At least my family doesn't want that pressure from me. Now, you have 2 sons.
Yes.
Are you going to do a little matchmaking?
Yeah, once if he decides that now whenever he wants to get married, then we would. And if he wants to find a girl on his own, is most welcome.
Yeah.
But both the options are open. We're not against love marriages or not for anything. Whatever works out, whatever is acceptable.
Yeah. Now, I love it. By the way, we are here in Bangalore right now, and we were even talking about how, in Bangalore, and by the way, she seems like the coolest mom, like so cool. Like we were chatting and like you really like to hear your son's opinions too. And it's not just about your way or the highway.
No, no. I really appreciate their views. And I feel, they have a very open and very matured way and very clear way of thinking. So I always like to know their perspective because that adds value to my thinking process. It adds one more you know, viewpoint to, my thinking.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot from my children, a lot.
So, are there any like misconceptions that you want to clear up, that something people should know about arranged marriages that maybe we haven't covered, or maybe we?
Misconceptions is only this, that people just feel that okay, it's it's pushing or forcing somebody into it. It's not that, first and foremost, and we don't feel it anything, that a pressure or something, fear about arranged marriage, because it's not done the way it seems to most people.
Yeah.
It's done in a very amicable, very, very nice way.
Yeah.
So there is, I don't think so there's anything that is that's not working out if a marriage is an arranged marriage.
Yeah. And can
So
an
it's-
arranged marriage turn into a love marriage?
Yes, I mean, most families here, most people in India have, the marriages are arranged, and then they have fallen in love with each other. So, and then you find most couples like that, and they live the perfect life together. You find least divorces in India. I'm not talking about the recent things what's happening, but initially we never, a divorce once in a way somewhere used to be like a very one in million cases that okay, a divorce has happened, and I've not seen people who are not happy because they have an arranged marriage. They're very happy together. They dote on each other. They compromise. They do everything that uh, you know a spouse should be doing for each other, and they're very happy. Probably people need to really see the good side of the arranged marriage. Be open to arranged marriage. Look the good points, good side of it, and then try to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
And if the marriages are not going to work, I mean, there is no this thing. Even in love marriages, the marriages don't work.
Sure.
Even in living relationships, also many times they don't work out. So, and I feel that the less you know about something, it's always better. The more you know about the person, the more you go deeper into the person. I mean, because no one is going to be perfect.
Absolutely. No one is going to be perfect.
Yes, so you try to
I guess you figure it
try
out
to
over
dig
time.
and dig and dig and dig, and finally you end nowhere. So this is my way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. And, I think I think it's interesting because, there is a TV show called Arranged, in the US. It's talking about arranged marriage. And I think it's because sometimes, at least to me and clearly some other people, finding a partner can feel so difficult,
Yes.
and then there are so many options, right? There's websites, there's apps, there's people everywhere. Like, how do you choose one? So I can see the appeal, of an arranged marriage. At least then you don't have to keep looking, and
Yeah.
you can try to work it out. And I think it's true, as long as you know that maybe the values are the same, right? That
Yes.
it's a kind, genuine, good person.
Yes.
Because if you're really with a kind, genuine, good person, I think you can fall in love, right? And you
Yes.
can compromise and sort of
Yes.
figure out the rest. If you have a solid foundation,
Yes.
I don't see why not.
Yes. And even in apps and all, I mean, are you trying to arrange it through apps and online this thing? So isn't that an arranged thing? Are you trying to arrange it in a way which is because you don't want to name it as arranged?
Yeah.
But I think this is a more profound, more sound way of, more, uh, because there's a thorough, thing done. The families meet and everything is, a very thorough process.
Yeah.
And it was like probably it was well thought of, and then the system was brought into practice. Because even in India, in initial earlier days, you hear about swayamvars where the girl had, would choose her own husband. So it's not that love marriages are not acceptable or not,
Sure.
yeah. So both ways.
Yeah.
So
Both good options.
yes,
No bad options.
Yeah.
Especially when it works out. Like, I'm happy to see all of these, happily arranged, thriving marriages.
Yes, and you're happy. Your life is good. It's more stable. It's more sound. You can give a more a sound and background to your children because you already have accepted to compromise, and so that's what your children learn from you. And that's very important in any relationship today, that you learn to compromise. Nothing is everlasting. Finally, it's all very So,
I love it. I'm going to take this with me into my future relationships. Compromise. She's been married for over 20,
32 years.
32. Oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
even imagine it.
Yes.
Like, wow. That's impressive.
And I'm happy.
Wait,
I'm
that means you
absolutely-
look really good. By the way, like it kind of just hit me, like with the age that she told me and then the years of marriage. I was like, wow, look at her. Okay, I'm gonna get some beauty tips later as well. So I love it. Thank you for taking the time to
Thank
chat
you
with me
so
today.
much.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Even I enjoyed it.
Thank
Yes.
you. I'm happy to clear up some confusion and kind of talk about what arranged marriages really are versus kind of what people might think they are. So, thank you.
Most welcome.